So it's exactly 21 days before South Africans head to the polls. IEC Deputy Chief Electoral Officer Masego Sheburi joins us now to discuss the elections timetable and all related matters. Good evening, Mr. Sheburi, and thank you very much for your time. So it's exactly 3 weeks before elections. Talk us through where you are on your elections timetable and key dates that the electorate needs to note.
Thank you very much. Just under a week ago, the Commission closed application for special votes. Special votes are intended for persons who, owing to physical conditions, are unable to physically present at a voting station to enable them to vote at places where they are confined. We confirm that we've received 1.6 million such applications. We're processing them, and those persons will be visited at their places of confinement on the 27th or on the 28th. And those who applied for special votes at a voting station will vote on the 27th or on the 28th at their voting stations. We have also started finalizing arrangements for South Africans who will be voting at our missions overseas. We have just over 78,000 persons who will be voting at missions overseas. The majority of those will be open on the 18th of May from 7 until 7 in the evening. In the Middle East, 9 missions will open on the 17th of May, which is a Friday. Special arrangements have been made for the mission in London because it is the biggest station overseas and also in the Republic, with over 23,000 persons voting there. So people who will be voting in London will have special votes over 2 days, on the Saturday, the 18th, and Sunday, the 19th of May.
All right. You can continue, Mr. Sheburi.
People who are in the country and who already know that they will not be able to vote at their voting station, either because they will be away for work purposes or they work in emergency services or even for leisure. Those persons have until Friday the 17th to give us pre-notification of their intention to vote at a voting station at which they are not registered, and to give us the details of that other voting station. And once they've done so by visiting our website, we will make arrangements to receive them at the place on which they will be on the 29th of May.
Then to the first-time voters abroad, or just generally all the voters abroad, what do they need to know or need to remember just ahead of heading to the polling stations, insofar as documents are concerned and even just the operating times?
Okay, for people who will be voting in the Middle East, the stations will open on Friday, the 17th of May from 7 in the morning until 7 in the evening. For the rest of the world, we will open on Saturday, the 18th of May from 7 until 7 in the evening. For purposes of voting, a South African abroad only needs to bring their identity document. It could be a green barcoded ID, it could be a smart card, or a temporary identification certificate issued by the Department of Home Affairs. If their name is on the list of persons who are approved to vote, they will vote on production of their identity document.
Then talk us through the process once a voter has marked and sealed the national compensatory ballot. What is the process to transport the ballots back to South Africa? I'm sure a number of people would just love that extra assurance that it will indeed be safe. They will arrive here and sealed as many would expect.
Indeed, a South African who votes abroad, they will receive their national compensatory ballot, and they will receive 2 envelopes. One envelope has the details of the voting station at which the vote is cast, and the voter will also include their details on that envelope. That envelope is inserted into a bigger envelope which has no markings on it. At the close of a voting station, all the ballot cast inside their ballot papers, including the voters list, are included in a bag, sealed and transported back to the Republic for purposes of counting. Once those bags get back to the Republic at the head office of the Electoral Commission, we will open them in the presence of representative of contestants check the seals, compare them with the seals that were affixed or attached at the machines. Once we've done those rudimentary checks, we will then proceed to open, validate, and start counting those ballots. First thing we do is to discard the envelope that has the voter's details so that we delink the vote and the identity of the voter in order to ensure the secrecy of that ballot.
And when do you expect those ballots to arrive in South Africa? Because if the last date, as you say, would be the 19th now, specifically in London, then when do you expect them to arrive in South Africa?
As soon as we close those stations, we've made arrangements with our courier company to ship those bags back home. Those bags must be in the Republic before Thursday following voting day. So by the 30th, those bags should be in the country, and we'll start counting as we do the counting in the Republic.
Now, DOCA has confirmed that the missions in Sudan, Tel Aviv, as well as Kiev remain closed. Is there any further information worth noting for those in these countries?
The latest information and advice from DECO is that those missions remain closed for now. Our advice has been to people, if they are able to make arrangements to transfer their votes to the nearest mission that will be operational, they could do that, and will make provision at those adjoining missions. If the situation changes, we will let the South Africans know, but we doubt very much in the time remaining that we will be able to make arrangement in those 3 missions.
And then just in closing, as the IEC, you've been on a massive drive to educate the youth in particular on the importance of voting. They've registered, but now the most important part is to get them to the polling stations on election day. How has your voter education program been going?
In fact, that will be the easiest part of our campaign, because we know from research that once registered, young persons are 10 times more likely to vote than any age cohort. We maintain our presence on TV and radio because, based on our research findings, the majority of people still prefer those mediums to receive information. We have presence on social media platforms, and we also have contact, which is physical contact, face-to-face interactions with persons in communities, town hall type discussions, and those type of engagement in order to build awareness and to raise the importance of participation in election, particularly among the younger voting public.
Mr. Sheburi, I think I'd love to squeeze in another question on just incidents reported to you, be it of political intolerance or any complaints that have been lodged. Where do you stand on that?
The Code of Conduct is operational from the date on which an election is called until the result of the elections are declared. Criminal matters like the defacing of posters should be reported with the South African Police Services, and once a party or person has done so, they can give us the details so that we can help with following up with the relevant law enforcement authorities. It is not a prerequisite. If a person has the details, they could also, with the necessary evidence, they could also approach the Electoral Court directly so that the Electoral Court may impose the sanctions that it is competent to impose in law.
But have any such matters, pardon me for interjecting there, but have any such matters been brought to your attention? Because a bit earlier on, we saw the South African Human Rights Commission statement regarding violence or threats of violence, even the defacing of posters. So they will be looking into some of those matters. So have any of these been brought to your attention?
Indeed, we have received a few complaints of poster defacing in Mossel Bay. Thankfully, we are yet to receive any reports of violent conduct against party or supporters of political parties. But as I said, those are criminal matters in nature. A party does not need to report those to the Commission. They could go directly to the Electoral Court, and the Electoral Court can impose the sanctions that it has in law.
And then the IEC's views on the flag burning advert, it sparked a lot of debate.
The Commission is yet to formulate a view, and I do not comment before the Commission formally applies itself and issues an opinion.
All right, fair enough. Mr. Sheburi, thank you very much for your time this evening. That's IEC Deputy Chief Electoral Officer Masego Sheburi speaking to us.